It's the legendary Musburger.
You are looking live at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
It's Christopher Mad Dog Russo.
I don't know what you can't understand about this. It's pretty obvious.
These two icons will put their talents to the test each week as they go head-to-head and duke it out for gridiron supremacy. You can hear My Guys in the Desert with Brent Musburger weekdays from 6 to 8 Eastern on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, Sirius XM 204.
How are you, my friend? Are you howling, Mad Dog? You sounded good, man.
And you can hear Christopher Mad Dog Russo weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 82.
For you to sit there is ridiculous. Nobody wants to hear this.
The lines are moving and the money is flying.
Show me the money!
Let the battle begin. Here they are. It's Mad Dog and Musburger.
Yes, indeed. And Brent and I should go away because we stink. 2-7-1. 2-7. Look at Vinny. He laughs. 2-7-1 here with our picks. I happen to win the little point total by a barely margin. Brent, we have had a rough year. What'd you take here on the postseason so far?
Listen, our top picks, Bears, Alabama, Texans, Bears. I mean, you are right. I mean, let's throw last week out. Hey, Vinny, the Mad Dog, since he came to town, what did you teach this dude?
I know this. The Mad Chris, ever since you got here, you're on fire.
I have been better.
You're gonna come next week.
Father Rob's done okay. My buddy Father Rob.
That's right.
Let's get Vinny involved first. Did you take where was the money with the Alabama-Clemson game, Vin?
Believe it or not, Clemson. Now, here, let me explain this, Mad Dog. So, a lot of Clemson money early, then some Alabama money, but a lot of Clemson money line as well. And we actually closed the game.
So you got pounded then.
Well,
wow.
we did get pounded, but here's where we wound up okay, because we always find a little something else for you to participate in, as yes. You know when you were here. Believe it or not, we did well on the first half, and then with Alabama down by the way they were at halftime, and the halftime was we used 8. Alabama 8. They backed Alabama at halftime. So wound up doing okay on the proposition bets the first half, the second half, and the futures were good for both sides. Overall, the public did better. They had Clemson, and we tip our caps to them as we always do when they do well.
And I would think you did very well with the Bears-Eagles the day before. Is that correct?
Very good point. Actually, that was because everything, as we spoke last week, Mad Dog, was going to the Bears in that game. And so, particularly with teaser bets, and that game being the fourth game of the day.
Good point. People teased the Bears down to 0. Is that what they did?
Yes, they did. Yeah, either 1 or 0, depending if they took a 6 or 6.5 or 7-point teaser. Yes.
All right, Brent. Which game shocked you the most last week, as far as the outcome is concerned? Let me hear.
The Bears, by far, is in terms of the playoff game. I had teased them down to plus a half point. Thought I was very safe. Trubisky rallies them down for the winning field goal. And then the pinball wizard goes upright, crossbar. So long, Franklin's. You know what I mean?
There you go. I tell you, he's been all over America in the last couple of days. Do you think if you're a Bear fan, you want Cody Parker today on the Today Show? I mean, he was good after the game. Go away for a little while, will you please? I didn't see Scott Norwood bounce around America when he was wide right against the Giants. I mean, geez, it's almost shoving our noses in it. Hey, look what, you know what? I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be with Savannah Guthrie for 25 minutes today. It drove me crazy.
What a great point. I totally agree.
So you lost on the Bears. Now, you and I had Alabama, Brent. You know Saban well. Your thoughts about how he's going to regroup after losing 44-16?
Well, the first thing he has to do is put a coaching staff together. There has been too much turnover. And the guy calling the plays, the next day he was off to Maryland as the head coach.
Good point.
The difference in that game, those Clemson coaches, Brent Venables, one of the highest paid assistants, defensive coordinator, they were together. Their offensive line coach has been there for 6 years. Saban needs to stop the turnover with his coaching staff. He's got great athletes. And, I was watching it, Mad Dog, and I thought, oh, we are so smart. Look at this. Tua T is taking them right down the field on that first drive, and then bada bing, pick 6. adios, okay?
Why doesn't Venables get a job, Brent? I'm surprised. He's a great defensive coordinator. How come nobody's picked him up yet?
I'm guessing, well, a couple of reasons. First of all, I've known him for a long, long time, from the days when he was a player at Kansas State. He's very happy down there with his family, raising his boys. He's very comfortable. They pay him a lot of money. And, sometimes it's just in the interview process. It's not what teams are looking for. But I don't think that he's eagerly seeking that head coaching job either, to be perfectly honest. I think he loves it. It's a great community, very underrated campus.
Is he making $1 million?
People.
Is he making $1 million bucks a year? Oh, yes. Okay.
Well over. Oh, yes.
Oh, well over. Oh, yeah. Well over. Oh, yeah. What does an Alabama coordinator, with Nick making all the money, what's an Alabama coordinator make? What do they make?
Well, he's got to be able to pay an offensive coordinator well over $500,000.
Oh, well over $500,000.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Now, before we back to Vinny, the ratings, 44 million watched the end of the Bears. It had the Golden Globes as a sort of a backdrop, which was a plus. And the football game got killed in the fourth quarter, Brent, as you know, with the blowout, only 25 million. Let me get your sense on the ratings last week in football. Go ahead.
Well, the Bear game was very high, correct? I mean, that was
45 million. That's a great rating. Give me your thoughts on that.
So two things. First of all, you've got these tremendous markets. Philadelphia and Chicago, very loyal fan base. You were bringing the East Coast, you were bringing the Midwest. There was probably a little bad weather, a few places, but the game goes down to the last play. Nobody moving if that game's going down to the last play. When you get a blowout, it's easy when you've got, hey, I got 2 more games tomorrow, I got 4 games next week. It's easy to walk away. Let's get out to dinner. Let's take the wife or the girlfriend out. So I think that you're really at the mercy of the game. But every game, the National Football League should be so lucky as they were with the Bears and the Eagles in that regard.
Now, how about the college game? It starts so late at night. They're going to lose the East Coast, Brent, when it's in the fourth quarter and they're getting a blowout. They're going to be in big trouble. Is that what happened there? Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I know why they go to prime time. I'm old school. I still like Saturdays with the college competition, but so be it. But, yeah, they were hammered big time by the fact that it was a blowout in the fourth quarter. Nick ran up the white flag, brought Jalen Hurts on, protecting Tua T's ankle there in the fourth quarter. So it was over, and everybody knew it.
Do you think the Alabama-Clemson thing is getting a little worn out and that people are losing a little interest in these two teams that going up against each other year after year after year?
I never think there's fatigue in that situation. The Dallas Cowboys in the old days had that great rivalry with George Allen and the Washington Redskins. If it's great competition and there's action from our end of it, I don't think there is fatigue, Matt. I think if they met again next year, there would be that crowd, hey, Saban's going to get even, or, hey, Sweeney's got the upper hand. No, I don't look at that as a bad thing, to tell you the truth.
All right, there, Vinny. Which game is generating the most interest betting-wise? I would think Cowboys-Rams, right? Sunday this weekend in the NFL?
Actually, these are 4 really good games. They're all generating some interest, Mad Dog, especially on the money lines. And the money lines are being played for the dogs. Now, here's an interesting trend, especially in the last 5 years or so. People believe if they're going to bet their team, they're going to back their team to win the game outright. So all 4 dogs in terms of the money line now, all right, to win the game straight up. The Colts, the Cowboys, the Chargers, and the Eagles are seeing some money. Now, that said, in terms of the point spread, there's money showing for the Chiefs. That game got as high as 5.5. We opened at 4.5, now sitting at 5. So two-way action there. Rams game is holding steady at 7. The Patriots, Chargers got some early money from 4.5 now down to 4 for the Patriots. And believe it or not, the Eagles are getting some betting attention here, although this will be teased. The Saints open 9, and that game is sitting at 8, but there's going to be a lot of teasers. Like the Bears were teased last week as the last game.
The Saints are going to be teased.
The Saints will be teased this week, yes.
Mm-hmm. Brent, if you were calling the game as the play-by-play guy, which game would you want to do this weekend?
I'm going to avoid the snow in Kansas City. and the Colts in New England.
Oh, seriously? You can do that? Okay.
And then I'm going to go to Los Angeles and do the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Rams in the Southern California sunshine.
Does a broadcaster, Brent, when he has a choice like that, I mean, he doesn't have a choice. They tell him what game it does, but would he rather do the most competitive game, the biggest market game, the warm weather game? What would Brent Musburger want to do here? You want to do the warm weather game, the big market game? What do you want to do here this weekend if you're Brent? Go ahead.
I would choose the closest game to Las Vegas to get back to my favorite city.
That's true, too. Good point, yeah. Most guys, though, what do they shoot for, most guys in that spot, Brent? What do they want?
They want a competitive game. That's what any broadcaster would take. You give me 31-30, 35-30, 40-45, something. You know, you give me a high-scoring, competitive game. That's what a broadcaster loves.
More than anything else.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to our picks. Last week, 2-3-1 for me, 0-4-1 for Brent. With the point line, 50 down to 10. I had plus 30. Brent didn't have anything. So, and I had a decent first week, not a great record. We're going to do the same thing with the points, Brent. 40, 30, 20, 10. Is that what you want to do here?
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go.
So I'll go first with the 40, and then Brent will take it along. He can match it, do anything he wishes there. I'm high on him. I want to root for him. I think there's a little magic karma going on. Rivers is due to beat Brady. The Chargers are very good on the road, as we all know. When they get on a plane, they're 7-0, 8-0, whatever it might be. I haven't lost the Ram game, the one road game. I understand Brady's tricky. I understand Foxborough's a lot to overcome. I just got a funny feeling the Chargers are going to be right in the mix here. I think this is going to be a very, very close game. I like this Chargers special team play with that King kid who returns punts. 4's plenty. I'll put 40 points on the Chargers game number 1.
And you add a tight end, a young tight end from Arkansas by the name of Hunter Henry. He's a pretty good player. So
good point, Brent. Good point.
And the dog goes for the Chargers for his 40-point game. And for my 40-point game, I will take the Dallas Cowboys with the 7 points. I think this is a more dangerous offense ever since Amari Cooper has been picked up. Obviously, the Cowboys are going to attempt to run the ball to keep the Rams off the field. That means that their most important player is Ezekiel Elliott. And Jared Goff still has to prove to me that he's one of the elites. He lost his only playoff start. That was a year ago to Atlanta. The Rams have not been as good offensively late in the season, although I am willing to concede that the injury to Todd Gurley really hampered the offense. But I think that the loss of Cooper Kupp really affected the passing game. I know that Gurley is back. I know the Rams are home, but there will be as many Cowboy jerseys in the Coliseum as Ram jerseys. I'm going to take the Cowboys plus 7.
Very good pick, Brent. And to match you, because I don't want to let you get too far ahead, I'm going to put 30 on that myself. I'll make the Cowboys my second pick. You hit all the reasons. Goff makes me concerned. Ezekiel Elliott can control the football. Cowboys have played very well lately. Obviously, they were 3-5. They have a good defense. There'll be 1 million Cowboy fans in the building. The Rams got a little something to prove. I understand that. But 7's too many. I'll put my 30 points on Dallas in game number 2.
Okay, and for my 30-point game, with 8 points, I am going to take St. Nick and the Philadelphia Eagles. I am well aware that these two teams met back in Week 11, and the Saints pounded them 48-7 in the Superdome. Drew Brees that day, I'm reading from Point Spread Weekly, went 22 for 30, 363 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The Saints intercepted Carson Wentz. They sacked him 3 times, outgained the Eagles 546 yards to 196. I love any NFL team in a rematch with a lousy performance like that in game 1. Plus, I'm getting more than the 7. So I'm going to go with St. Nick and the Eagles plus 8.
Wow, good pick, Brent. Nice job. Listen, I'm not in love with it. I think the Chiefs might break out, but I want to root for the Colts. I'll put 20 on them. against the Chiefs. I don't. The Chiefs are not great in their building. They're 4-4 this year at Arrowhead with the spread, which is not phenomenal. And of course, you know what their playoff record is. They are 1-10 straight up in playoff games dating back to the '94 season. Great offensive line by the Colts. Very good quarterback. Andy Reid sometimes has a little trouble in the postseason. Mahomes' first playoff spot. Listen, the Chiefs could win, but I think the Colts will keep it close. I'll take I think it's 5. I'll take the Colts with the 5. It is 5. And I will take the Colts plus the 5 in Kansas City. That's my third game for 20 points on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, for 20 points, here's where Mad Dog and I disagree on the outcome, but I agree on who Dog likes emotionally, and I'm rooting for the Chargers too, but I don't think they can do it. Everybody knows I have a travel bias. It certainly didn't come to pass last week when the Chargers went into Baltimore, but I've got to assume that they were able to come up with a very good defensive game plan. Gus Bradley, their D coordinator, against Jackson and that Ravens offense. They shut them down. But remember, the Chargers were settling for field goals in that game, and it did still stay alive into the fourth quarter when Jackson came back. They were able to sack him 7 times. You don't sack Tom Brady 7 times in New England. You have given him the week off. Now, look, I get it. This is not as good a Patriot team as it has been, but I'm not willing to take a shot against Belichick and Brady right now. I understand the Chargers are as good as it gets when they're on the road. Brady, Gronk, Edelman, they look a little bit older, but I don't think it's a big number. It's going to be in the 20s, and I'm going to take New England and Foxborough -4.
That's Brent's third game. I'll put my last game on. I'll go Saints. I'll be a little different. I think the Eagles eventually will run into an abutment. They can't keep on doing this with these miracle wins with Nick Foles. Saints, I've heard all week about how the Eagles are going to look for revenge and everything else. I think that Sean Payton, 5-0 with Breeze in his building, is not going to lose. So it comes down to whether or not you think they can cover the 8. I'd be shocked if these Saints lose. So if I think that, I'll just take the team I think is going to win. I'll put my last 10 on New Orleans against the Eagles. So I will do 40 on the Chargers. I'll put 30 on Dallas with Brent, 20 on Indy, and 10 on the Saints. And Brent's got one last pick. Brent, take it away.
All right, I'm going to put the 10 on the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that Andrew Luck is extremely dangerous. He did a great job down in Houston. He was one of the best quarterbacks of Wild Card Weekend. But there's one thing that leads me. Well, actually, it becomes 2 things. 3 inches of snow predicted in Kansas City. This could help the Colts, yes, with that running game. There's no doubt about it. But it's still a dome team going into a snowstorm in a playoff game. Patrick Mahomes wasn't there when they lost all those playoff games previously. I think the Chiefs will be able to score enough points to hold it off. It's a pretty big number that I've got to lay in that one, 5 points. But I will take the Chiefs minus the 5 for 10 points, which gives me the Cowboys plus 7 for 40, the Eagles plus 8 for 30, New England -4 for 20, Kansas City minus the 5 for 10 points, Mad Dog.
We love you, Brent. Vinny, you're up, pal. We will see you guys next week. Thanks so much.
Take care, Mad Dog.
Appreciate it today.
He's the Mad Dog. He's the best, and we'll be right back with Vinny here, and we'll wrap up this half hour. VSiN.com, Sirius XM 204. Well, Benny, when we look at, I'll tell you, the dog stepped out on the Chargers and Phillip Rivers.
I'll tell you, he does. He likes the Chargers plus the 4 this week for his number 1 selection. Number 2, he went with another dog, the Cowboys plus 7. And in the third hole, his third selection was the Colts plus 5. And then his one favorite was the Saints -8. Brent, your number 1 pick for 40 points in the confidence pool. Cowboys plus 7, Eagles plus 8, Patriots minus the 4, and the Chiefs minus 5. So there you have your 4 selections against the Mad Dog. And again, as we pointed out, since he came to visit us, he's on fire.
That's terrible.
Might be on the next flight.
I understand the voice of the Minnesota Vikings, Paul Allen.
Paul Allen is
around town. So as Ron Flatter pointed out, can't bet in Minnesota. Might as well come to Vegas and bet the divisionals. All right, the Flatter man is coming up with an update. When we return, Amal Shaw will join us, and we will get started with My Guys in the Desert.